Oh my gosh, we have an exciting show for you today. One of my girlfriends I haven't talked to in a long time, but are you going to love the story? She's a psychic medium and she got it when a plane crashed. Stay tuned.
Now shut up, the show's starting.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I mean, today's show it's interesting. You know somebody for a long time, and you talk to them for a long time, and you don't really actually get to know each other until they come on your show. So that's what's happening today. We have one of the most amazing psychic medium healers, and we're going to find out how she got the gift, when it came to her, and all kinds of other stuff, because she's a nice Jewish girl like me. Put your hands together and welcome the fabulous Dr. Linda Salvin. Here we go.
Hey, Esther. Hi.
Hey, Linda.
Hi, you look adorable today.
Oh, you look fabulous. Look at you with your stars on.
Star of the show. I wanted to be on That's Estertainment properly.
Oh, and you are. And like the nice Jewish girl you are, you had to have bling.
A little bit. I got a little bit of bling here and there.
A little bit of bling. Hold on. Oh, my God. And now, I don't know if you can see, there's Bobby Bashaw. She's a private investigator who is involved with a lot of murders and crazy. She was involved with that guy that killed everybody in the DuPont. Oh, God, I can't remember the name of the guy, but he just died. He killed like all 3 people. Okay, there it is. Hey, Bobby, how are you? Say hello. Say hello to Dr. Linda Salvin. There's Tammy. Tammy's fabulous. Angela's all the way. She's in New Zealand. Everybody will tell us where they're at. Karen is in. We love it. And then Bobby says, hi, Linda.
Hi.
And then it's everybody saying hello to everybody. There we are. Glam, ma'am, Sparksy Tutzel. So you are talking to me from glorious. You're in Los Angeles right now, right?
I'm in Los Angeles, born and raised. I'm one of the few natives you'll ever meet.
And you're going to be coming to Vegas soon, right?
I'm coming to Vegas to speak at a convention in April. So I hope we'll get together. I'll be at the Mirage for a week. Yeah.
Girl, we'll come over. We'll kibitz.
We'll kibitz.
And we'll have nosh.
Well, nosh.
I'll bring out the good Manischewitz. Is there such a thing as good Manischewitz?
I don't think so. It all tastes like grape juice with a little vent.
It does. Anybody, and people are saying hi to Linda. Tammy's saying hi.
Hi, Tammy. Hey, everybody. I can't see the list, but I know you're there.
Okay. Oh, you can't see? Oh, that's right, because you're on the phone.
I can open the chat.
Yeah.
But then I block you. No, I'll look at it later. That's cool.
Okay. Well, that's when you should have your laptop, when you can look over and see all this.
Next time. I've done so many shows. It's the desktop, the laptop, the phone. It's like, at least it gets done.
Now, can you see when I put the things up in the window? So you see that Bobby said she loves
I see everything. Yeah, okay. I see.
But I bet you see the comments that I put up in the window, right?
I can see a little, yes. I just don't have my glasses on, Esther, so a little tiny.
Thank you, Afro Wookie. Let's see, my cat's name was Wookie. There we go.
Wookie.
I know. What's Afro Wookie? Afro Wookie has been a fan of mine since I was on Now Live. Do you remember Now Live? Like 10, 12, 13 years ago in LA? When
it all started, because YouTube started 12, 13 years ago when I was on KLSX 97.1 here in LA. They were closing down the FM talk station, flipping to hip hop. And I was asked to do YouTube back in 2009. And I thought, I'm not going to start something new again. I am tired. I didn't know. And I had just lost the job at KLSX, and then my mother passed away 3 weeks later, and I thought, what am I going to do? And to think new when you're going through that type of turmoil, I'm not the type to just jump in like, hey, yeah, let's take on another opportunity. Now I'm going to YouTube 12 years later, a little late, but I'm getting there.
Hey, it's okay. I was here, then left, and then we all know the story about that, but I'm back. And, by the way, somebody said, you both look gorgeous. Aw.
Thank you.
They're so sweet. By the way, let's see. Wookie said 17 years ago was Now Live. Oh my God. I was one of the original.
already?
Yeah. I was one of the original Now Live hosts on now, and we went to the studios were in Camarillo. We have to drive up the 101 to Camarillo. Right. Please. Now, let me explain to everybody a little bit about Miss Linda. I know everyone that's in the room, everyone that comes into this show is very spiritual because they know that I have a lot of incredible psychic mediums and healers on my show, and we love to know certain things. Now, Linda, what was it, 1981? Was it 1981?
41 years ago.
41 years ago.
February 17th.
February 17th, 41 years ago?
41 years ago. It's unbelievable. It's gone so fast now. Yeah.
But I remember this. I remember when this plane crashed. And
it was national news. I mean,
it was national news.
Yeah.
So explain to everybody what happened. You're on a plane, 109 people. It was a miracle.
It was called the Miracle Flight, Esther. Let me tell you a little background just before that.
Okay, here we go.
Quickly, before that plane event, I was in San Jose with my partner at the time. We worked for an insurance company. And at that time, with a master's degree in public health epidemiology, the big word today, I was doing environmental health and safety. And we were in a hospital in San Jose, which is about an hour and a half flight from Los Angeles. And as my partner and I were sitting at the in the coffee shop waiting for our plane, I looked over at where the plane was sitting or parked, and I said, doesn't it look like it's going to crack there? Because I had an image, a vision of a settlement or an exhaust settlement at the fuelage, and I thought, it's going to crack. And he looked at me, and he looked at the plane. He goes, you're just tired. It's been a long day. Fast forward, we're on the plane from San Jose to Orange County, which is south of Los Angeles. So it's a smaller airport than LAX, called John Wayne Airport, named after the actor, of course. And it comes right off the 405 freeway. If you're going from LA to San Diego, it's right in Irvine and Newport Beach. It's right there. So you know how you're in a plane and they taxi and they're kind of like waiting for your turn to land. So we're up in the plane, and I don't know why, but all of a sudden I tuned into this cute little blonde host, and I'm thinking, I wonder if he ever thinks about crashing. It's one of the risks of his job, because I was trying to think about risk. So I didn't think why I thought that, other than I was thinking, and I was in the second row, middle seat, two men on both sides of me. It was a Boeing 737. Yes, 109 people, including the staff or the crew. And all of a sudden we started to go down, and you hear the throttle and you hear the engines, and all of a sudden we hit the ground and we bounced, but then we went up, then we came down, then we went up. And you don't do that. You bounce and you come in. We kept going higher. I don't know how high we went, but we crash landed. The landing gear was stripped, an engine fell off, and the plane cracked in half, exactly where I had the vision an hour and a half earlier, Esther. It cracked in half. If you go online for flight 336, AirCal. You can see the plane. I have pictures everywhere. I don't know where they are at the moment, but yes, the plane cracked in half. And what happened to me.
That's the thing. This is what I wanted to ask, because I didn't want to interrupt you. Now, you were not psychic before. You did not. No. But yet you had, when you saw that crack, it was like
everything changed. Everything. That was my first real. Correct. That was my first real premonition, vision, whatever you want to call it. I believe we're all intuitive. Of course we are. We all have the inner voice. That's given. But we're not all psychic. There's a big difference. Somebody says, I got gifts and I got this. Oh, no, you don't. I have been initiated into this world for whatever reason on the psychic level. Let me tell a little bit of what happened, because I think your viewers and fans are going to freak out, because every time I tell my story, if I had heard it, I wouldn't have believed it, except I lived it.
Right.
I went down the ramp. I picked up my purse. My partner, Leo, kicked open the door. First, the stewardess comes running everybody off before it blows. We had 90 seconds to deplane without asphyxiation. That's a lot of people to get off a plane when you don't know what's going on. Right. So I picked up my purse. I was wearing a winter white suit, and I had this purse. The next thing I said to the stewardess, so where are the stairs? And she tapped me on my shoulders, and I went down the chute. but coming down the chute, I had an out-of-body experience. I had my first of 3 near-death experiences. Literally, something went, and this voice spoke to me. We all have voices. We all have 1,000 people in a committee going on all the time, but this was different.
Right.
I was given a command, and I felt this energy, and I didn't know what it was, but I hit the ground on my knees. I just got up and ran. I didn't know what was going on, and I ran around, then I stopped, and I was facing the fence of the 405 freeway.
Right.
So I'm seeing cars. Then I pan a little bit, and I see the beacons of the ambulance. I go, what is going on? I was confused.
Mm-hmm.
I go a little further. There's the terminal, and I'm trying to figure out where I am because I was in shock.
Right.
I turn even further, and there's the plane on its belly on fire, cracked in half, foam, people everywhere. I mean, it was crazy, but this is where the story begins, I think.
Okay.
I'm standing there. I'm 5'8", a little distorted on the YouTube thing, but I'm 5'8". But a part of me stood at 50 feet higher outside my body. I was like a cyclops.
Like an outer-body experience.
The first time, and it lasted 4 months, not just a few hours. It was 4 months. I used to tell my sister, there's voices in my head, and I would tell doctors I see things differently. Nobody understood. Nobody talked about this stuff. This was pre-internet. There wasn't even Google. I mean, you couldn't talk to anybody, right? No. So I got taken to the hospital with back, neck, knee, and elbow injuries. I kept saying, they asked if I'm okay. I said, no, I'm split in half.
Literally.
Gurney, so they called the gurney, but I had this sensation of being split in half. It calmed down in 4 months, but during that time, I was in the hospital. I had back, neck, knee, elbow injuries. I started hearing voices. People said if I said something, it started happening. I said, what are you talking about? People would say, you told me so-and-so's going to call me. I was just assuring something. Things started happening. Mm-hmm. I also had a weird Christ awakening. Yes, I'm Jewish, but I remember.
Jesus, I've been there. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, Jesus was a Jew. Let's get going. But I remember I stayed at my parents' house because I was freaking out. I couldn't go to sleep. I couldn't get up. I didn't want to get up. So I had to sleep. The whole PTSD thing was horrible. But I was in bed, and all of a sudden this cross came flying out of the wall and hit me on the forehead. And I thought, oh my God, now I'm a Jew for Jesus. And I threw the covers over my head. I didn't know what to think. But it was like this spiritual thing on top of everything else. And my brain was already wacko because I had no one to talk to. So I go to therapy. And I said, I think God put me on that plane. And the doctor goes, God? What did God have to do with it? I'm like, right. So that was how I started. But I didn't know how to calm down, pray, meditate. I knew how to talk. I knew how to get up in the morning, take a shower, go to the bathroom, eat, and get back to bed. I was shaking. And everything was like 50 feet out. So I saw life from a different perspective. And then I saw life here. It was
and that
weird.
was in the hospital. That was in the hospital.
For 4 months, even after the hospital, just living, going to the market, going to the pharmacy, going to the gas station, going out with a friend if I could even get going. It just didn't stop. It didn't stop. So then I told a friend of mine that I have this weird thing going on since the plane crash and I don't understand it. She goes, go to the psychic. I'd only been to a psychic once. I thought my friend who went with me told this woman everything about me. I didn't know about
right.
I walk in Van Nuys in this woman's apartment. I think her name was Shirley or Cheryl. I don't even remember. It's 41 years ago. She's got her back to me. I walk in. She goes, oh, you're a walk-in. I said, what's a walk-in? She goes, that's when you're near death and a different soul takes over. You're not going to be in your body for a while. I said, I was just in a plane crash. So I sit down. I say hello. She starts explaining everything, tells me to read Ruth Montgomery's book on Strangers Among Us, and said I'm a really a very strong psychic. I said, I'm not psychic. 41 years later, as you know, I'm a world psychic. I've been on radio for 20 plus years. I've been on TV, but that's only part of the story because a year after the plane crash, I was going to UCLA for a job interview because I lost my job with the company I was with due to corporate reorganization, which was bull because they paid for the insurance and they didn't want me back. So I lost that. But On my way to the job interview, a fire truck lost their gear shift and smashed my car going over Beverly Glen. You know Beverly Glen.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm coming in from the valley, and it's a big incline of a hill, and there's mountains that divide the valley from the city of Los Angeles.
Right.
So I'm like this, and I'm watching this huge hose truck smashing my Camaro at the time, and I freeze. So of course my neck and arm went out, and the captain, whoever comes over, goes, "You okay, miss?" And I start crying. I said, "Oh yeah, last time in a plane crash, I'm getting hit by a fire truck." It's very comical now, but the truth is, it happened.
Well, how soon was it that you got hit by a fire truck?
A year.
1 year. Oh my God.
Yeah. So I'm still trying to get over the plane. Now I've got the fire truck. So I didn't make it to the interview then, but I did become agoraphobic. I was afraid to go out. I became very isolated, where I stay safe, where nothing's going to hurt. But that's not healthy either. But I got scared. Like, what is it? Because I didn't understand the spirituality or the psychic or metaphysics of any of it. I didn't know yet. Then I got rear-ended a year later when I was on my way to a job interview for something in a hospital in Pasadena. But then I was working for ICM in 1984, and it was a rainy night in January. I was living in the marina, and I went through Palms and McLaughlin, sideswiped a Pinto, and as I was spinning out, I said, "I just want to go home." The white light, you may get chills, because when you get chills, you know it's the truth. A white light went from my head into the ceiling of the car and into the heavens, and that same voice I heard coming down the ramp 3 years earlier,
Ooh, I just got chills.
Yeah, "You can come with us now or stay and do." And I was given a message. So the paramedics had to pry me out of my car. I got out on the pavement. I said, "They want me off the planet. They want me off the planet." I didn't know what was going on. But nobody.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was weird. So a friend of mine, the guy I was seeing at the time, came to UCLA emergency, picked me up, got me home. I got fired from the job the next day for who knows what, but I didn't want to be a secretary anyway. And my brain is just like exploding. Like, who am I? What is this? Why? There were no answers and nobody to talk to. Eventually, I had read that book, Strangers Among Us. Said, okay, if I'm psychic, what am I supposed to do with it? Well, it took me 12 years to accept it. So I potchked around and bounced around to different jobs, trying to find a place. I'm a singer-songwriter, so I went back to music, and I was playing music, and I thought, okay, I'll just do my music. That's what I'm supposed to do. Well, of course, God had a plan, and I passed out during a gig in Northridge, and I was hemorrhaging to the point I needed an emergency hysterectomy. So I said this is 10 years after the plane crash. Doctor, I said, Hold on one second,
Linda. For people tuning in, there's a bunch of people just tuning in. We're talking to Dr. Linda Salvin, an incredible psychic medium, intuitive, who has survived 3 near-death experiences: a plane crash in 1981 of AirCal in Los Angeles, and a damn fire truck on Mulholland. And we're going to get to the third one in a second, but I just want to let you know that you're tuning in. This is the incredible Linda Salvin, and she's telling us the story of what happened. So so back to you, Linda. I just had to let you know because a bunch of people had come in and are going, "Who is this woman with a fire truck in the jaws of life?" And so
I'm going through it was horrible now in retrospect. Of course, I mean, I'm 40 years older, but still going through it. There was nothing. And remember, pre-internet, okay?
Right.
1986, and this is still the 80s.
Right.
So I passed out. I went to the doctor. He said, "You're going to need an emergency hysterectomy. How important is it for you to have kids?" I said, "I don't want to be a statistic," meaning because I knew epidemiology and medicine. I don't want to be a statistic of losing my childbearing abilities. He goes, "Well, then you're going to be a mortality statistic. Which do you want?" That's how close I was.
Wow.
Of course, I chose surgery. And back then I was in the hospital for 7 days. It's not like they just go through the belly button today and pull it out. But that was done. That was 1991. So 81 plane, 82 fire truck, 83 rear end, 84 the white light, 91. It's like, God, can I have a break? So all of a sudden, this energy started coming out of my hands. I mean, from nowhere. I was at a party, I don't know, a couple of weeks after I was able to start walking, getting out again. And somebody asked me to do some healing for her. Long story short, she literally is a documented case of 26 MPDs, which is multiple personality disorder. And I put her back together into one. And her mother, I don't think she did it deliberately. She was like a Sybil, but her mother flew in from Arizona and thanked me. And I realized I was given this gift of healing after they took away my uterus. So all these things started changing. It just started changing. Then somehow I got onto Psychic Friends Network. And then from there it was the infomercial with Dionne Warwick. And then I got selected out of 300 people to do the nighttime drive of psychic radio at K-Big that was just starting psychic radio.
Oh my God, I remember K-Big. Oh.
K-Big 104, of course.
Yeah.
And they compete with Coast here in LA.
Yes.
And you know,
You're on the coast.
they wanted to go up against Love Letters. So I got,
oh my God.
So I did the show for 6 months. And then my friend Fred, who was the program or creative director, then he's still my friend, did all my voiceovers and commercials. And he led me into brokering radio. And I did radio for 20 years and became the #1 radio psychic. But I had to push through a lot because I didn't believe I was psychic. I mean, what's a psychic? I hate the word.
That's the thing. Like, okay, so you had these experiences. You start picking up, like like a Roku box before there was Roku, and all of a sudden, when did it hit you that you could do this for a living? Or calling, how do you say it? To support yourself, but yet at the same time, what I find is people like yourself who are gifted. It's not just supporting yourself; it's also helping people.
It's all about helping people. Esther, if I was in it for the money, I'd be an attorney.
A nice Jewish attorney. God knows I got tons of them.
But this is how I really found God, and this is how I came together. I knew God put me on the planet.
I want to know about the Jesus thing. Did that come back? Go ahead.
It all comes back because
okay.
Jesus or Buddha or Hindu or Moses, it's all the same. You're still going out there, wherever it is, however, whatever they have you believe in. But it was just another point of like, okay, this is going on. But I figured that out when I was in Thailand. It's like all the Buddhas I spoke to, everybody has a belief. So it's whatever you feel. But I just do spiritual. I don't do religion. Religion's man. I once asked my dad, I said, Dad, do you believe Jesus is the Son of God? And I don't want to offend anybody, but he said no more than I am. It made sense. It made sense. It made sense.
Oh, right now, 222, 222.
Okay, we're right on target. So
we're right on target, Missy.
The synchronicity. But I was in Hollywood or Westwood, or I don't remember where I was, and I was just frustrated. I was in one of the woods of LA, and there's no trees, not a lot of trees. But anyway, it's all desert. I just threw my hands up in the air. I said, what the F do you want me to do? Because I had gone from job to job to job. I had opportunities at Lorimar and Sony and ICM. And I was trying to figure out where do I belong, but I don't want to be a secretary. And yet I couldn't go back to public health because it made me ill thinking that's where I was and all these accidents. Then I started correlating, as an epidemiologist does with statistics, right?
All right.
Reasons I looked at my life. Whoever they are, got me out of that job by putting me on a plane crash. They did not want me keeping the job doing research at UCLA, so I had the fire truck accident. They got me out of the research job at the hospital in epidemiology with that other rear end. And then whatever happened after ICM, it was about me becoming the you're sneezing on the truth. The entertainer, but in a spiritual manner. So I said, I knew I was spiritually driven now. I knew that I could see outside the box and not just be cognitive as the thinker, as a scientist. So I started applying spiritual beliefs. Can I recite the poem I used to put on my show that everybody understood my view of God? Sure. It's a Sanskrit poem written in the 1200s. And it's, God, are you real? Like I have butterflies behind me. And everything I talk about are butterflies. So this is the poem that really brought it home when I started putting it all together. It says, God, are you real? The child whispered, God, speak to me. And a meadowlark sang, but the child did not hear. So the child said, God, speak to me. And the thunder rolled across the sky, but the child did not listen. So the child said, God, speak to me. And a star shone brightly, but the child did not see. So the child said, show me a miracle. And a child was born, but the child did not know. So the child said, touch me, God, show me you're real. Whereupon God reached down and touched the child, but the child brushed the butterfly away and walked away unknowingly. It's all here. We're all here. It's all the universe. And Dr. Carl Jung was one of the first, besides Hippocrates and those guys, Aristotle back in their day, 1,000 years ago. But modern day would be Dr. Carl Jung brought in metaphysics when he was on a train and he saw the dolphins jumping out of the water and sink. So he started to put the synchronicity of life.
Oh, I just lost Linda. Where'd you go? Oh no. There you are. You're back. You there?
I got a phone call. Sorry.
It's okay. We lost you at synchronicity.
Yeah. So Dr. Carl Jung figured out synchronicity. So I started looking at synchronicity in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I started, sorry, people, my computer wasn't working. So I started seeing how everything started to happen for a reason. Who I meet, where I go. I would hear things in my head like, be there at 7:47 and go through the back door. And I would go in and I'd meet a famous celebrity at some club, or I'd go somewhere and they had a sale on something I knew nothing about, or I'd go somewhere and run into somebody I hadn't seen in 10 years. I mean, I started listening, but I didn't have this kind of messaging prior. I had regular intellect and obsessions and my love life and my parents and food, I mean, clothing, just normal stuff, but not direct. So I started paying more attention. And then when I got on Psychic Friends Network, I started getting calls from people saying, you're the only one that knows what's going on. You're right. This happened, that happened. I thought I was just having fun.
Right.
Well, then I started calling some of the psychics on the network, and most of them knew nothing. And I got some people that were reading out of the same book I studied some tarot with. I'm like, they're just reading from a book. I'm just talking and I get it. So I left, and then came the radio. And then through the radio, I got on, oh gosh, back in our day, Esther, I did John and Lisa, Hard Copy, CNN. I did all those shows, right? As the psychic during the recession. Whatever day was going on back then.
Way back.
Yeah. So I did all that, but I kept doing the radio. And then I was nationally syndicated on over 400 markets at one point, which was really a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. And I just kept following the spirit. And then after a while, I really started understanding metaphysics, but most of it came out of me naturally. I didn't study. So I decided, with a master's degree in public health epidemiology, I need a PhD to qualify and quantify the woo-woo with the science, because nobody was doing it this way.
Right.
So in 2005, I went back and studied, got my PhD from the American Institute of Holistic Theology in 2008. I'm board certified with the American Alternative Medical Association. I have awards for being this psychic, spiritual, medical thing from this health community from around the world, which is why I'm going to be back in Vegas in April, because they're giving me another award for top leadership in healthcare, because they see how I combine mind, body, spirit. And for people listening, when I was undergrad at San Francisco State studying health, the definition of health is the state of mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. But nobody ever talked about spiritual health. The generation now is coming holistic, more natural, and all the different herbs or remedies and getting off meds and all that. It's opened up over the time. But as I was growing up, it was still taboo, and it was still the Western medical view. Now it's different. I have learned as a healer, I help people release blocks and obstacles that are lodged in the emotional state of our organs and tissues. I can see inside where the grief or the guilt or the loss or the pain or the insecurities are, and I fix it so people can breathe and be more secure and happy. I'm not going to spend time talking about testimonies. They're all on the website. But it's been a journey. But the last thing that happened that got me here, because I channeled for 22 years, was the mediumship. So I became a medium. After I was healing people, I used to throw my hands on my thighs, and that's when I needed 100 tumors removed from my hips and thighs at one point. So it was another surgery over 3 years. I had over 100 tumors, but after the first surgery,
how long ago was this?
1996.
Wait, go ahead.
1980. Yeah, 1996. I can't even remember. So 1996, some guy came for a reading. He said, my wife died. Can you help me talk to her? I didn't know anything about mediumship. And all of a sudden he says, oh my God, you look like her. You sound like her. It just happened. Here I was 3 weeks after, with all these bandages of all these surgical things. And I called somebody who was deceased now, but she was a medium, and she says, "Welcome to the world of transmediumship." I said, "Well, what happened?" She goes, "Probably from that surgery." So the surgery opened me up to the mediumship,
So,
and I
gotcha.
channeled
Wow.
dead people for 22 years.
Wow. So let me ask you something.
What do you want to know?
Here we go. Well, by the way, there are a lot. I know you can't see
No,
the
it'll
comments.
distract me, but go ahead.
Well, now when you come back on the next time, we'll have you all set up. But somebody said nothing like a mortality threat to get your attention.
Yeah, 3 times over. I had to learn a lesson.
You're the original OG. I'm having Bobby said, I'm having a psychic debate on a missing woman. Need a tiebreaker. Maybe Linda can help, dead or alive. Missing since 2013 in Canada on a bridge after filing. Let's see. I'm having a psychic. This is Bobby. She's a private investigator. Bobby, who was the big guy the rich guy that just died that you helped solve the murder that was HBO and everything? Could you type it in? I can't remember. But anyway, Bobby, I'm having a psychic debate on a missing woman. Need a tiebreaker. Maybe Linda can help, dead or alive, but missing since 2013 in Canada on a bridge after filing an assault against her Hell's Angel boyfriend. Oi! Robert Durst. Do you remember the whole Robert Durst in LA?
I do.
That's Bobby. Bobby was the one that
Hi, Bobby. Yeah, you can call me off the air. We can talk, because I've helped solve a couple of cases. I don't like to do detective work, but I discovered one that chopped up a bunch of people and left their bodies up in Yosemite or someplace. I dealt with a detective in Beverly Hills, and I didn't want to touch that stuff. I'll stick to love, life, and money. But as far as the person, I think the person is really still alive. I don't get in spirit. I think a different identity in Canada. I don't even know if they're still in Canada, but I can usually tell or hear if they're on the other side, but I'm not getting that type of energy, because usually just so people know, when I'm channeling, it comes in on the right here, like a little tunnel. Like I can just, it's like my antenna. And the energy would come in, and I start hearing voices. I don't do comedy. I mean, I don't do party lines. Like I can't say, oh, there's a person with a black Camaro that totaled, and then the kid died in a black truck, and this one's drowned. I don't do all that. Like, stand up, who is this? Because it can be anybody. I get the name and date, and the date of their birth and the date of their passing, and then I tune into one person. And I don't do sensationalism. Like if somebody wanted to talk to John Lennon or somebody, if Yoko came to me, or if Sean came to me, or any of the family, that's different. But for somebody like on a TV show or in a magazine, I say no, I won't do it. A lot of people do. I won't, because it's that specific with me. I've dictated, channeled suicide notes, spaghetti sauce recipes, the inside of the coffin. I've done it all. I've seen it all, and I quit. I retired from professional channeling in 2018.
So for people that want to know, if on the YouTube channel and on the information through Facebook and whatever, you can see how to get a hold of Linda. You can go to Salvin, salvin.com. I didn't put your phone number up because
I can give it out.
No, but I can put it back. I didn't put it on the YouTube because I didn't know if that was the right number that you wanted.
Well, there's a toll-free number, Esther. That's absolutely, it doesn't ring to me, but they can have it. It's 888-509-1077. It's toll free.
Hold on, I'm putting it there. There's the number, people.
888-509-1077. Yeah, I mentioned, Esther, to get a 10% discount. But I've done this a lot.
I've been marked down by Kmart. No,
I'm here to help, but
I know I'm kidding with you.
I love what I do. Like, you love what you do, and I did comedy, and I did music, and I've been in movies, and I've done a lot of
Hollywood Hotel. One moment, please.
Yeah, I've done my thing out there, but I still have a passion to get the word of God spiritually out there. I'm not an evangelist. I don't do religious. Don't push it over your head. But if you open up and you see beyond mind, body, and you see the spirit as to how we all connect, or how come it all works, or if the job's canceled, or you're fired, but then something else is better. Or like, I was supposed to be in New York today,
Right.
to do a major TV show, which I got preempted because there's a war out there. So
Yeah.
that
Which I'm going to ask about in a few minutes after that's our next subject. I know you.
so I was supposed to, yeah, but instead of going to New York, I'm here with you.
Isn't that wonderful? Oh my God, I'm touched.
I gave it up for you. Yes.
You gave it up for me.
That's how it works. You
Like
never
a
know.
Catholic giving it up for Lent.
Yeah, I was upset. And then something else good happened.
Somebody just said, what is this? What is the most ridiculous request you've ever been asked?
Oh boy.
Somebody just asked that.
Well, yesterday I was talking to some girl that called in. She was in the bathtub, and I said, "I hear water." It's like, "Are you in the bathtub?" She said, "Yes." And she wanted to know, about her job and everything. I said, "Well, you're really good in this." She yelled at me because she said, "I didn't ask what I'm good in. How do you know this?" I said, "Well, I'm a psychic." So people say, "Don't tell me that." I said, "Well, then don't ask a psychic if you don't want to know things. Why are you calling? I'm not your shrink. I'm not your friend. You want answers." But one of the weirdest ones I remember years ago, some boy called from Seattle, Washington, and I don't think it was a joke. I think he was legit. He said his girlfriend left him for his sister. And I didn't know how to handle that because I just said, "Call me
sister."
Yeah, there was that. But the worst thing that ever happened, I mean, there's been a lot of funny things, wacko things, and sometimes you have to say no.
Mhm.
I don't know how people call. Do I need to get a new carburetor? I said, I don't know. Go ask the mechanic.
Right. Honey, get a lube job, then go get your carburetor fixed.
Yeah, I'm not your doctor. I mean, I can analyze and I can do medical intuition, and I do heal people, and I've had people with my candle line help people. I do candle magic, and I've helped medical miracles occur besides getting money and love and everything. But the worst night was probably in 1998 or 7. I was at the studio, and my assistant and the engineer were there. Some guy from Chicago called in and wanted to talk to his uncle. As God is my witness, you may get chills. The whole room went heavy, heavy, heavy dark, like with this black tar negative thing where it was such a thump. I said, we have to go off the air. We went off the air for 10 minutes, and you being in radio, that's a lot of airtime not to be, playing music. And once we all got our senses back, I went on the air. I said, who is it that I'm bringing in? Oh, my cousin Louis, Johnny, whatever. He was part of the mob. Well, whatever I brought in, if ever I saw a hell, that was the night I saw it. I mean, I think this is all hell. We all live in hell until we get to heaven.
Right.
But if there's really a hell, I brought it in that night. The funny parts, I can't always laugh at what I think is funny because just someone else, it's their whole life. But what I do in a lot of my readings, and I'm known for my humor because I'll break the monotony of the depression and the heaviness and the, you got to break it up. As you do, Esther, you got to.
It's interesting. I mean, have you ever been to the Comedy Store on Sunset?
Yeah, of course. I did open mic. Yeah.
Was this this before? Before
the 80s.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I mean, because many mediums come in there. I mean, I was in there one night. There's what the thing people don't understand about the Comedy Store was before it was the Comedy Store, it was Ciro's, and it was owned by the mob. And they had showgirls, and it was huge. I mean, it was, I mean, they used to whack people in the basement downstairs.
Oh my God.
Bugsy Siegel, those people. And nobody will go downstairs into the basement. It's like the most, because
it's haunted. It's haunted. And I did this Latino 96 here in LA. Is a Spanglish station. And I used to be their resident psychic. And the old studio was where the Rams hall was over on Pico. Mm-hmm. So they had me channel what was in there. And the things that came through was a murder that took place in the hot tub. I knew nothing about it. I knew nothing. I didn't even know it was the Rams property back in the day.
Wow.
The PD, the program director, was on his way to the studio because back then I would be on the air 6, 7 in the morning to get people going during the drive time. And he called in. He said, how does she know that? And then the program director said, she's a psychic. He said he had chills and to keep going. So I would be their resident psychic because I picked up what happened with the Rams and the death. And I guess a lot of guys, it was like a train and they all left her for dead. Nobody knew that the body was left after they did their thing. And she was found in the hot tub or somewhere in the locker room.
They used to do abortions in the
Downstairs
basement of the Comedy Store. That's how the showgirls got knocked up and stuff like that. It was crazy. So I did my big show there with the 9-piece orchestra, and one night, there's an like an intermission where I go to do a costume change, and it's just me backstage. And this actually happened. The band is playing for about 5 minutes with this musical thing. As I walk backstage, I go to the dressing room, and it's as long, and there's a woman sitting, the actual woman sitting there, and she's like this. And she turns.
You had the apparition.
She looks at me and she goes, and I was like shitting myself. Thank God I had the pens on, and she was gone. And they said that this woman shows up there all the time. By the way, anyway, that was just crazy stuff. Somebody said, my daughter, Carmen, hello, my daughter is missing. Is she alive, please?
Please, I want to do this off the air. I can't do that.
These are the things that she said she doesn't want to do. I get it. That was there, Esther Comedy Store, whatever. Now somebody said
the apparition you had there, Esther, is very real, and a lot of times people don't understand. I've had an apparition. There's one rock star who died in 1992, who went to my high school, who has talked to me forever since he passed away, and I've seen him twice. Once when I lived in Beverly Glen, he was at the fireplace, and then in another apartment in the valley, he was just leaning against the wall like this. And when you're sensitive or they have a message, they're going to come to you and give you something. But that woman there was giving you the okay, keep going, you're doing great. She was like your cheerleader. Energy.
It wasn't like a bad.
She was a cheerleader. She was there to cheer you on. She's also there. There's a lot of people she doesn't like. I don't even know what her name is, like Gladys or Margie or something. But a lot of the souls that were left from, like, if you get into an abortion, just because some people think you're killing the child, you're killing the fetus, yes, but the soul doesn't enter the fetus until it hits air, and that's the first cry. So there's a lot of controversy. I don't want to get into what's, life versus.
Yeah, of course.
Whatever.
But
what happened there and the energy you were working with from the history of old Hollywood. Actually, I think propelled you into being stronger there because of your sensitivities. I think you were able to go beyond it. I think you have a couple of, like this girl, I think you had cheerleaders that kept pushing you forward. A lot of people quit because they couldn't handle the negativity in those rooms.
Yeah, it was a tough room.
It was a tough room. They had how many rooms? Like 3 or 4 different rooms to work at.
Yeah, there was the original room. And then there was the main room. So I did the main room, which was 300 people, the big stage and everything. But, Mitzi, she was tough.
She was tough. Johnny Carson used to come in and practice and say things. There were a lot of celebrities.
Johnny Carson. Ed, I did not know that. There's Johnny Carson. I can't believe it. Somebody said, do I know Sam Kinison? Yes, I actually did drugs with Sam Kinison. That was one of the
I remember I was doing comedy when he died on the highway on his way to Vegas.
Yeah, he used to come up. Right, he had that accident, and then he used to come up. Everybody would go to what's the place that had the pizza? The Roxy, the Roxy. The Roxy. And there's the Italian restaurant that's part of it. What was it called? Oh my God,
I don't remember. It's too long. I can't. My brain doesn't
pizza
anymore.
Ever. The Rainbow. Oh,
the Rainbow and the Roxy. Yeah, and the Rainbow just sold their light to a guy here in the valley that has all the memorabilia. Those were some hot days back then. It's not like that now.
No. Derek Lightside, why do some here he goes. Somebody wrote, why do some spirits seem stuck and not move on?
I'll tell you, that's a great question. I love stuff like that. Thank you. The channeling, I just don't want to do on the air. It's too private and personal, but and draining. But spirits will stay close to the earth plane. And I just went through this with a gal I was working with last Friday, actually. And she has been holding on and trying to talk to her boyfriend that died of it. I said, she just said, I don't know what to do about my boyfriend. I said, he committed suicide. He overdosed on drugs, right? And she said, how'd you know that? I said, because I can hear it and I can see it. He was a drug addict. leave them alone, because she's always trying to connect. And if you're trying to connect or make sure they're okay, or make sure that they're going to contact you, or that there's a sign, they can't always move on. They'll stay stuck and closer to the earth plane. A lot of the times they'll stay closer to the earth plane to take care of us. They feel guilty. There's different ways of dying, whether if it's a terminal illness versus an accident or a gunshot wound or something that's unexpected. There's different ways of transferring over, because there's the shock value for spirits versus one that's in preparation to die, and then they see like their mom or dad or husband, and they start seeing colors, and they know they're going to be met at the gate because there's gatekeepers. There's all different ways the soul interacts with the other side. The other side's not really that far away, because I hear it. And if heaven really light years away, I couldn't communicate with dead souls communicating suicide notes or why he hung himself or whatever. You know, I make light of it, but it's really heavy, heavy stuff.
Of course.
But the soul of a deceased individual, even your dogs and cats, fish, turtles, horses, they'll stay close until they know we're okay. The more we try to hold on while we grieve will inhibit their ascension. There's different classes, like if we go to junior high and high school and college and different semesters, there's levels of ascension on the other side. Some go play golf and drums and cook, and life goes on without the body.
Right.
Then they reincarnate. We've all been here before. We've all reincarnated. They're what I call the soul circle. You and I have known each other in past lives, which is why we can pick up and talk forever. You know,
Right.
Because there's a soul connection. Why it happens, who knows? The people who hold on are preventing their loved one from growing. People are not going to like what I'm going to say next, but a lot of people keep their urns with their loved one's ashes in the house.
Right.
You need to let them go. Keep a piece of it, but let the ashes go to the ocean or the lawn or wherever they may want to be. I took my mom to Nordstrom's.
I want Neiman's.
She wanted Nordstrom's and Neiman Marcus, so I took a handful and she went into a vacuum cleaner. But you know,
Even after death, it sucked.
yeah.
Here we go.
But you got to be able to let them go, and then you won't feel that heaviness. But they have guilt. The spirit will be grieving. They'll feel like they left us behind. They'll feel that they weren't complete, or they didn't have a will, or they left with too many debts, or they were sorry for some of the abuse that happened 55 years ago. It all comes up if you're channeled properly. The grievances will happen. But our job is to grieve and miss and love unconditionally. Let them go. And if you don't have a sign, there will be a sign. Not always are they come in your dream. It took me a month and a half after my mom went, and I finally saw a butterfly. And then I heard, nope, there's another one. I went around the corner, there was a second butterfly. I went around the corner, there was a third butterfly. So I knew my mom, my aunt, my grandma were finally all together. But it took a month and a half. I said, come on, Mom, come on. Doesn't work on our time. No.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. I mean, I'm an orphan. I mean, I lost my family. I lost my mother right before I was 6 years old. And I've been on my own since I was 15. It's so funny. I've had a few of psychic mediums that came on and they picked up, you know, that my mom is still here. And I never knew who my father was. My mother had an affair and I was the offspring of that affair. Yeah. However, a couple of weeks ago, I was talking to Louis Maybe, who's a psychic medium. I don't know. You all have to connect. But I was sitting here having a conversation.
I think you're going to meet him.
Huh?
I think you're going to meet him.
Well, what happened? No, he's dead. He's gone. I mean, but what happened was, Louis, we were FaceTiming. We were on the other computer, and I had Champers, my little fur baby, and Champers was like looking down the end of the hallway. And I'm going, what the hell is that? There's nobody there.
He was there. Yes, he was. Your dad was there.
And Louis looks up and he goes, what? And I go, what's the matter? He goes, a man's voice just said something.
No, that's why I said you're going to meet him. Yeah, I mean, whether it's spirit or not, he's here.
Oh yeah. So she said he doesn't want to know you. He wants to help you, but he's proud of who you are. He never knew you existed. He didn't know that you were born. Isn't that crazy? Wow. Amazing, isn't it? So anyway, that happened. So,
but you're going to hear more from him. I can help you bring him in too. But that's why I said you're going to know him. You're going to meet him, whether you meet in spirit or not. I mean, I've done a lot of people who lost their parents and then channeled. I've channeled babies that passed away at 2 weeks and brought in their soul.
Well, here's an interesting Angela, who's a wonderful. Oh, she's a regular. She's in New Zealand right now. She goes, my daughter, now 21, was 2 when her dad died, and she said she saw him on the edge of her bed.
They come sit on the take care of the guardian angel.
When I told my mom, she said she just imagined it, and I believe she did see him.
You're correct.
Yep.
It's again just like it's the apparition where you see the spirit, like I was talking about this rock star I used to know, or the experience that Esther had at the Comedy Store. They're apparitions, and spirit will come through. And if your daughter woke up and saw, she's correct. A lot of people don't believe in this. Like the shrink at UCLA said, what would God have to do with it? Well, I should go talk to that psychic, that shrink now, and say, look what's happened because of all this. It's all about God. It's all about spirit. The gift is being able to identify it. It's also learning not to run from it.
Right.
Because it can be very scary. And most people, as you know, we get bashed and bullied. I've been called every name in the book and being a fraud and a fake. And one time I channeled some girl that got murdered at the beach, and some woman in Texas thought I Googled her. And I'm like, I did what? I mean, I don't Google these people. I just, but everybody has an excuse as to why it's so good or so accurate or whatever. But there's people that really have a gift. And my job lately, or even 25 years ago on radio, there's so many charlatans, as you know, Esther.
Oh,
there's a lot of charlatans, the wannabes, could-bes. And now with TikTok and YouTube and everything that goes live, all these supposed psychics and card readers, it's saturated.
Right.
But the real niche are few and far between.
Right. That's why I created, I know so many of you amazing, gifted people.
You know the real people.
And I created the private page that I put you on the other day.
I just saw that.
Because I did that because I find when I talk to you, Linda, when I talk to Sloan, when I talk to Lewis, when I talk to Marla, when I talk to all these different people, you sometimes need a little help too.
Yeah.
Because it's hard for you to read yourself. Yes.
Oh, so it's hard to read ourselves. Yeah, gosh.
And so it's like a little group of 10 of you guys, ladies and guys, that I thought, you know what,
we'll help each other.
Help each other. That's what it's there for. And you can invite whoever you want, but
cool.
I only wanted.
Thanks. I wasn't sure. Yeah, no, psychics can't read themselves. Yes, we're intuitive. Yes, we have ideas. I can be getting on the freeway and somebody say, no, take the side street. And I get on the freeway anyway, there's an accident, right?
Right.
Or, so-and-so is going to call. No, he's not going to call, leave. I get in the car, there's the phone call. Or I sense it, but I don't always trust it. But when I have a reader, and I have a few people that have been about 90% accurate, and sometimes I say, I wish I had a reader as accurate as me, because I'm a psychic. I read a lot of psychic.
Well, as everybody knows that tunes in, bye, Bobby. Bobby's leaving.
Bye, Bobby.
Bobby Pasha. But what I was going to say, she was actually on the show as a guest. It was amazing. But no, the people that I choose to have in my life and to be around me, especially the gifted folks like yourselves, they're real. And I find out the fact is that nobody's trying to compete with each other. They're all, it's these people, those of you that are connected through that little secret place is there so that you all can help each other. And
wonderful. What a gift. That's great.
Yeah. And don't just say hi to everybody. People said hi to you the other day.
Yeah, I should go back online. I wasn't online. I'll go look.
Somebody said, we are here to lift each other up. That's why we follow it. Oh, thank you. And then here we go. Somebody wrote, what a wonderful gift to be friends with all these amazing psychics. It is. Somebody says, you must get readings all the time. I go, no, I really don't. My psychic friends, if they feel something, they'll call me, but I don't. I enjoy.
And a lot of people as psychics don't solicit.
Right.
If you ask me if your cousin Michael came on, or Esther wanted to know something about a new show or a new deal or a contract, you can always ask me. But I'm not going to come up and say, oh, Esther, did you know this is going to happen in about 6 weeks, blah, blah, blah. I don't do that for fun. I don't. It's invasive. Just like I don't do the party lines with the dead people. If they want me, let Yoko come to me, or let Sean, or somebody ask. Not just, what about this? What about that? It's a lot of work to tune in, get the right one. There's a lot of negativity out there. There's a lot of interference.
Right. And there's always people trying to screw with you. But but what you're saying is true. I mean, I just don't every now and then. And it's so funny, like Corby Metley the other day. She said, let me do a spread for you. And I said, okay, when I get time. It's like, it's not, I am blessed and very
You
lucky
are, and you've got a
to
lot
have
of great.
people like you
But if
all.
you ever need or want,
If
I'm
I ever
here.
need, I can.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, but as well as I do, you do these shows and there's people that come on and they ask 1,000 questions about
Yeah,
their
and I say,
silverware
this is also my career. I'm not doing it just for entertainment purposes. I do because I can educate and enlighten people, and I have a lot of experience. Whether you're talking about near death, white light, people on the other side, dead spirits, readings, healings, channelings, candle magic, God, what's God, who's God. I mean, I've been doing it 30 years. So for people to just say he's going to call on Tuesday, I don't know if he's going to call on Tuesday, but you will hear from him. Otherwise, I'll tell you, it's not here yet, but he will pop back up, or maybe he's not interested or whatever. We all need somebody to talk to, but when it gets
Right.
taken advantage of or made
Right.
fun of, I can get testy with my attitude. And if I don't like you, spirit will let you know. I just mirror.
Right. You'll like get that sage out and go, be gone. You have no power here. You have no power here.
Yeah.
Your little dog too. No, it's so funny because we were talking about white light when I almost died in 2020 from
You've
COVID.
seen,
I saw when they carted my Jew ass out the door on the gurney, and my heart stopped.
I remember that.
In the building, yeah. And I just remember seeing this bright white light. When it was right, and I was like, whatever. But I just remember when I woke up, there was this gorgeous hot fucking intern. This is heaven. I'm happy.
Allie helped a lot of people from the other side, and she's still helping you from the other side. And Allie knew, like I knew, and there's real stuff with these white lights. I didn't understand it when I was in the car, and that happened in 1984. I didn't know anything about this stuff, but I'm talking now after over 40 years. It took at least 30 years professionally because I ran for so long. I didn't want it. I was embarrassed. I was humiliated, a psychic, because that's like, wearing a turban with candles sitting on the boulevard with a big neon sign and then ripping people off. That's not me. I work really hard.
You haven't seen my character. Esther does a thing called the kosher psychic. Have you seen it?
I got to hear.
I'll send you a video. She has the turban, the whole thing. She's like, she predicts shit.
With
and
fried bread?
It's all comedy. It's not real. It's very, very funny. It's called the kosher psychic. And she does this whole thing. It's very funny. And it's just tongue in cheek. Well, you have been a doll. We've been on an hour.
It goes fast.
An hour. Will you come back?
I would love to. And then once I get my channel going, I'm like 2 weeks away. I would love Esther to come on. And we'll talk about how Esther got her start and how it all evolved. So will you be my guest as well?
So let me so as everybody's saying your story is amazing. What a blessing and a pleasure it is. Thank you so much for having her on today. I know it was incredible.
Thank you.
So if you want to get a hold of Linda Salvin, all the information is on the page, the YouTube page. I'm going to add the number, the 800 number that was there. What can I say? This has been fun.
Just watch for the butterflies and let them guide you on your journey. That's what I said.
Why Dolly Parton has butterflies.
We all do. Maybe she's got more than that.
Give it up for Miss Dr. Linda Salvin. Such a sweetheart.
Thank you, Esther.
This is Esther Goldberg, and we'll see you next time.